Alright, let's do this. What's going on, YouTube? Ben Evolved here. I'm coming at you today. I'm going to bring you a tier list. And just if somebody finds this video and finds it helpful, awesome. But I'm just going to give my thoughts basically on as current as the first DLC. I have not played the second DLC, so I can't really give it any authority on that too much. But I'm just going to go through all the passive items and weapons and evolved weapons. Just go through everything that's currently in the game at the moment, give my quick thoughts on it, and then also sort of just talk about when you want to use it, when it's not a good idea to use, stuff like that. So let's jump in. Got the balls here. The balls are fine. They are affected by curse and area. They do good damage. I think if you can maximize the damage on them, I think I'd probably put these in B. I don't really go for them all that much. A lot of my expertise is for leveling, so I'm going at this as sort of a leveling point of view, and I don't find these to be super beneficial in the leveling side of things. Armor early on is really good. It just reduces the damage you take from mobs, and some mobs you can just walk right through and they're just going to do no damage to you, and the mobs that do hit you really hard, armor is going to be super helpful really early on, and then later on you need it to evolve. Rune tracers, you know, there's some maps where you can get it on the ground, like Dairy Plant's really nice because you can just get that. And then we've got Ashes of Misspell. This is the evolved version of Flames of Misspell, which is a pretty good weapon, specific character that starts with, but the evolved version of it is just better. It does require Tirona's box for max evolution. Tirona's box, if you're unfamiliar, it's a damage, area, cooldown, duration boost. It's I think 3 or 4% every level up to 9 levels, and then at level 9 it's 100% curse. So it's a tough passive to take. We'll leave that at the bottom. So Flames of Misspell I think are really good. I'd probably toss them in a B. Okay, let's do this. Let's toss the balls down. I'm gonna put balls in B, balls in C. Okay, so moving on, we've got a Tract Orb. Tract Orb's amazing. Love a Tract Orb. You can pick up items from further away, pick up levels from further away. It makes it so that you could level up faster. Just, it's a really good weapon that's required to evolve Labora, which is another reason why it's incredible, because Labora is easily the best weapon in the game, but we'll get there. So for that reason, I'll put a Tract Orb into S tier. Axes, I think axes are horrible. Axes are really bad, just the plain axe itself. If I didn't have to use them to evolve to get to Death Spiral, I would never pick them up ever. So let's toss them in D because they're really bad, just really, really bad. The second version of Bracelet, Bracelet, is like slightly better than, I don't even want to say it's better than, it's slightly better than Axes. I'll just grab Bracelet out of there. Bracelet's worse. Bracelet is just horrible. Bracelet's so bad. The evolved version actually is really good, so let me grab that one out of here. Tri Bracelet, I think Tri Bracelet is pretty good. I'd put that probably, it's better than the balls. It might be worse than the balls. It's definitely better than those two, but it's also pretty bad. It's not a great weapon just because you don't have control over it, and fire rate is slow, so if you're not doing a limit break run, then you don't want to be taking this. Bloody Whip, I love Bloody Whip. I'd put Bloody Whip probably before armor because it's basically like an armor. It's life stealing. You're gonna heal for 8, so if you're hitting something, you're healing for 8, so it's really nice. Sort of acts as an armor where you can regenerate. One of the really nice things about Bloody Tear is that Hollow Heart is required for the evolution for it, with Whip obviously, and Hollow Heart is the first passive you get in the game. You have to survive for a minute and you unlock this passive, so for that reason this is really good because it allows you to win runs super early on without having to worry much because you're healing and you don't have to worry about finding chicken when you don't have regeneration, when you don't have passive regeneration. I think Bone is really good. It's really good for runs when you have most power-ups and you have the duplicator power-up. Then we've got Bubbles. Bubbles are fun. Bubbles are fun and they're good. Bubbles are fun and good, and I'd probably put them at the end here after Flames of Misspell. I'd probably put them before Flames of Misspell. I think that might be slightly better than Flames of Misspell. Bracer's good. Bracer's fine. You know, if you have a projectile build, Bracer's pretty important, but it's just fine. Probably late B fine. Candelabrador, probably just better than Tract Orb. Might be one of the best in the game. Just, I mean, to make all of your weapons 50% bigger is ideal. Candy Box is just like, it's a free weapon. Unless you have the Arcana that reduces your cooldown when you limit yourself weapons. I mean, even in some circumstances, if you're doing like a single weapon run, limit break, you might want to just take this anyway, just for an extra weapon. Not better than Candelabrador, but it's really good. Carts, I think carts are just fine, especially when you do limit break, but if you don't do limit break, they're not that great to use unless you have an amount character. Probably leave them in C. Flowers are awesome if you can get flowers early on because it's healing, and healing's hard to come by early on when you don't have the power up. Cherry Bombs are deceiving unbelievingly bad. I think they probably belong in C. They don't do a lot of damage. The explosions don't do a lot of damage. It's just every time I used them, they were pretty underwhelming. You can easily do a single weapon limit break run with them. Clock Lancet is amazing. It's really, really awesome. I'd probably put it high A, probably best, because it's really good early on. You unlock it really early. If not, it's already in the game when you start the game, which if you can level it up quickly in a run, it basically saves you from being touched. You cannot be touched because ideally you're getting tome, you're doing whatever it takes. I think it's we'll put it where it belongs, right there. It's better than Candelabra. This is easily the best item in the game. Did I finish my thoughts on Clock Lancet? You can win your first run using Clock Lancet, because once you level it up and you have armor, you have whip, you can heal yourself and you can walk through enemies. So when you're overrun by the end of the game because you won't have enough damage, that just happens. You might not be even leveled up enough to get all of your weapons potentially. Clover, high B, probably even low A, but it's more fun later on than it is early on because you have to invest in it when you could be investing in damage. Crimson Shroud. Shroud is evolved Laurel. You need both arrows to get Crimson Shroud. So it absorbs 10 hits and then does damage. Basically this in Clock Lancet, it allows you to kill the Reaper, but not Clock Lancet, the evolved version of Clock Lancet, which will right next to each other in S tier. I mean, if you want to kill the Reaper, you need these two. Cross, I think, is kind of like C, because it's definitely better than Axe. It's really good because early on it does one hit kill a lot of mobs. It is pretty reliable. Crown, I love Crown, especially for level runs. I would put it here if I could, but it's not that good. I think it belongs sort of there because, you know, a lot of runs that you do later on in the game are going to be limit break, especially when you're gold farming to get everything. Crown's necessary because every time you level up, you get stronger. It's an investment, but I think it's a necessary investment in any run you do because the faster you level up, the stronger you're going to be. I think most of the evolved weapons are probably just going to find themselves in low S or high A because they're really good. Death Spiral is one of the best and you unlock everything for it really early on. So you can evolve that and you can be winning runs really soon. Same with Duplicator. Duplicator is amazing. Duplicator probably belongs up here, especially if you can unlock this early on, level up the wand to level 7 really quickly, and then you can just quit that run, restart it, and you're going to have Duplicator available. And Duplicator is just the best. The Duplicator is the best thing you're going to find. It's just one extra projectile when each individual projectile is so important early on. Birds are trash. Both birds are really bad. I hate the birds. I would never pick them up if it weren't for Vandalier. Vandalier, I think, is definitely outclassed in a lot of categories, and when it first came out, it was super strong, but now it has sort of fallen off in how you use it. But if you can use it efficiently, I think it's still really good. I think it's probably low A, high B. Echo Knight is the evolved version of Summon Knight, so let's go with Summon Knight first. I think Summon Knight's pretty fun. It's not that bad. Probably put it in a low B. Seems good. And then the evolved version of it is much better, so toss it up there. Guns I don't like. Guns I think are really bad. We'll put both guns into here, and then while we're on guns, we'll pick up the other gun, which is incredible. It's really good just in terms of survivability. These take a big investment. You need to kill both guardians on both sides of the map. That's a long way to travel. So those are really end game, where this you can get at 10 minutes, ton of damage, hits a lot of stuff, especially if you can maximize your revives. That's 2 revives potentially. So we'll toss that in B. It's high B for sure. It might even be, I'd probably put it in A, honestly. Okay, we've got evolved version of the wind stick. Let's toss the wind stick in here. I think the wind stick's pretty bad. It doesn't do a lot of damage. It does heal though, which I like. So I probably give it low B. The evolved version of it is much better, but I don't like it as much. And then we'll take Fire Wand. Fire Wand is so bad. I would never take it if I didn't have to, but Hellfire is incredible. It's really good, especially if you have the explosion arcana, the fire arcana, and then also the bouncing fireballs arcana. There's a lot of synergy that you can get with this, and it's going to be a lot of damage that you can survive with early on. So it's number 1, it's easy to get. Number 2, it's just really good. So to have it, you need spinach, and spinach, 50% extra damage the entire time for sure. Taking it every single time. Spinach is really awesome. Okay, so we've unevolved Flames of Misspell. All right, so we have Flames of Misspell. This is Ashes of Mustspell. So let's put these into here. It's probably, I would put it around here, I think. I don't know. It's like I'm never gonna do a run with just that. I'm going to always evolve it. I would never use this if I wasn't anticipating evolving it into that, unless I didn't know what the evolution was, which is understandable, but it's just worse. It's just a worse version. Then we've got the balls. All right, and then we've got 4 seasons Four Seasons is a really good weapon. There's a lot of damage potential with this, especially with Limit Break. I think it's good early on, and the quicker you can level it up, the stronger it gets. I think it belongs somewhere in the upper A. It's really nice. And then this one I think is really strong. It's basically an upgraded version of the Bloody Whip. It is harder to get because you need Vento Sacra. You need this bad boy, which I think is bad. I think it's a D. I think it's probably slightly better than bracelets, but not as good as guns. You need this bad boy, and you need Bloody Whip, and you need those both completely leveled up, and you combine them to create this, which is really strong. And yeah, I'm going to be including videos of what the runs look like with Limit Break and super high level. So Garlic, super strong early on. I'll put it in probably A, but damage falls off really late. So really what you want to do is you want to get Garlic to probably rank 4, super important. Because it's extra damage. It's extra damage at rank 4. Really what you want to do is just get Garlic to level 4 quickly. Get that done early on, and you have a lot of damage until mid-game where it sort of falls off and you can't rely on it to one-hit kill a lot of mobs, but it's super strong early. Cats are probably belong in S tier, probably up anywhere along this, probably just after the passives. Cats are really bad if you don't have all of your power-ups already. You really want to have all of your power-ups because cats are going to scratch you, and the only way to get them from scratching you is to feed them chicken, which keeps them from scratching you and increases your damage. And cats are really luck-based because the higher luck you have, the less chance there is for them to scratch you, and the higher the chance there is for them to do cat fights. And cat fights is sort of a Labora effect, and if you have the right arcanas, you can make cat fights fill the entire screen, and you can kill mobs before they even are able to walk on the screen. That's how our world record runs would go, is we'd be going for cats to take up the screen, can't see anything, and then pick up all the XP at the end of the match. We've got Godai Shuffle, which is the evolved version of Four Seasons. It's really good. Probably put it just before Four Seasons, just because it's a stronger version of it. You need Spinach and Candelabrador completely leveled up before you can evolve that, but super strong. Gold Ring, I would never take it if I didn't have to. It's awful because all it does is give you more curse. You need it completely leveled up. You need the ring completely leveled up so that you can evolve Clockline Set. To evolve Clockline Set, you need both the Silver Ring, which is definitely A tier, probably along the lines of up here, because it increases the size of everything and increases the duration. Gorgeous Moon here. Gorgeous Moon is awesome. Evolve version Pentagram, love it. Brings in all XP to you and wipes out the map. How can you not like that? Then we've got Greatest Jubilee. I put it along S tier. It's really good. Basically, it's firing fireworks around you, and then it also has the chance to spawn a bunch of light sources around you, which is really strong because there's a chance that you get a clover, more pentagrams, more magnets. Just super strong, especially when you get the final level of it that has the lights at the bottom, which is just more damage you're going to get. Heaven the Sword, pretty strong. Probably put it mid A tier because it is harder to get early on. Basically, you have to find a clover, and you don't get them all that often. You do get them from a light source. You probably should get it within the first 5 runs of Vampire Starters, I would imagine, depending on how long you survive for and how many light sources you destroy. But it is hard to get this early on because you do need to get the cross leveled up completely, and you need to get the clover, and the clover is the hard part early on. But once you do get it, it is a really strong weapon. Hollow Heart is bad. I would never take it if I didn't have to. All it does is increase the amount of HP you have, which if you're doing enough damage, if you're outputting enough damage, it shouldn't matter how much HP you have because you're doing enough damage. So if it did not evolve for Bloody Whip, I would never take it ever. Holy Wand is really strong, especially when, you know, it's one of the first weapons that you can evolve, and once you do, it's sort of like an extra barrier between you and mobs that get really close to you. I think because of ease of availability, that's why I'm gonna put it there on early A. Jo Odor, it's the evolved version of Mirage Robe, and it's probably one of the best weapons in the game. I probably put it before all the other weapons, for the reason that when it's evolved, the evolved version of the Mirage Robe, it's going to confuse enemies depending on, with a cooldown of how much you're moving in each direction. So if you have enemies getting close to you and you start sort of running around in a circle, that this is going to make them run in opposite directions, and it's going to confuse them, so you're never going to get hit. One of the strongest DLC weapons. I think it's probably the strongest DLC weapon you get in terms of survivability, but it does make the game, I think, a little less fun because, you know, it's more of a you can stand still kind of thing. Stand still relatively. Bible is really, it's pretty weak. Probably put it above carts, especially the unevolved version of it. I'd toss it probably low C. Knives, I think I like knives just about as much as I like the guns. Labora, it's so strong because it creates puddles of stuff on the ground that are going to save your life every single time. So if you're struggling with dairy plant, struggling with bone zone, honestly, I probably should move it up. I probably should put it there. It's so good, dude. It's unreal. I think that Laraba is probably just a little bit better than these, probably among there. Laurel is probably right next to Clock Lancet because in terms of survivability early game, it's going to allow you to live longer, and that's the name of the game, is live as long as you can, level up as much as you can. So Laurel's going to allow you to do that. Probably put that up there. Lightning Ring is okay. I think probably a mid B among there. I think Wand belongs just before its counterpart because it is really strong. It's one of the first ones you can get when you buy Imelda, and it's consistent targeted damage you can rely on. Menage is really good. This is the evolved version of Song of Mana. I think Song of Mana and Menage are both amazing. They do have a lot of particles with them though, so they're going to make your game lag a lot if you are limit breaking them. But I think both of these are super good for just wiping out a lot of enemies really consistently, especially on maps like Inlay Library or Gallo Tower, where they're coming at you in consistent directions all the time and you can really utilize it. The arrows for Crimson Shroud, the left pointing one, the one from the left pointing to the right, is the healing one. I like the healing one a lot because it heals you. I'm going to put it probably mid B. And then the other one is similar to, I'd probably put those last, is similar to the Gold Ring, where it's 9 levels where you're going to increase your curse every level. So it's 9 levels and it's going to increase your curse by 5% with each one of these. So we've got Mill Bowl Blue, which is the slightly lesser version of its evolved counterpart, and I think it's just fine. Probably put it along with, it's mid B. I think it's a mid B. Mirage Robe is a slightly less strong version of its counterpart, of its evolution. I think it is still really strong because it freezes enemies. It's similar where you need to be moving in sort of any pattern, any motion on its detonation. It's going to freeze enemies around you. So in combination with the Freeze Arcana, the Explosion Freeze Arcana, it's potential for a lot of damage and a lot of survivability, but you need the DLC for it. All right, so we've got Muramasa. It requires Stone Mask to evolve, and Stone Mask I don't like very much. All it does is give you more gold. So if you're in need of more gold, then by all means, it's really good for you then. But Stone Mask in general, after you have all your passives purchased, it's unnecessary because you really don't need anything else. But this is the evolved version of the Night Sword, and it enables critical hits and combo finisher, and it does drain your health, so you need to make sure that you have some sort of health regen enough to count for what the damage that you're putting out. It is a lot of damage though, probably put it in low S. And the Night Sword itself, it's slightly less strong than its evolution obviously. It does retaliate and steal heart, so it's going to heal you. We're going to put it sort of right in, probably around here. I'm rethinking Godai Shuffle. I think Godai Shuffle probably belongs in S tier, it's really strong. Alright, we've got No Future, which is the evolved version of Rune Tracer. I'd put it probably next to, similar to these two DLC weapons. Pentagram is not great. I'd probably put it below like mid C, because early on, if you don't have luck, it's going to wipe out stuff on your screen, and not in a good way. You're not going to save items. You're going to wipe out items. You're going to wipe out XP. It is going to save you. It's going to kill the mobs, but it's not going to save you. You really need to get it leveled up. But when it's leveled up, it becomes Gorgeous Moon. Pumarola, early on, it's not great, and it never really becomes that great. I think it's probably like a mid D, because the healing is not a ton. You know, it is noticeable, but it's not something you want to invest in when you can be investing in damage, because you shouldn't be losing your HP and dying. You should be doing damage and not dying. Rune Tracer probably is, I think, among mid B, probably a little higher than Lightning Ring. I really like Rune Tracer, probably a little lower than Lightning Ring. Rune Tracer is really strong when you get it fully leveled up, especially with bracer and duration and projectile speed, anything. Really strong. Labora I think is really strong as well. Labora probably belongs somewhere among low A, just as an item. Labora on its own, once you get it leveled up, it's so good. It will carry you. Shadow Pinion, I don't like. I probably never take it. Valkyrie Turner, evolved version of Shadow Pinion is fine, but I probably never take it unless it's just like a fun run or something. Skull, I would never take it, but it is necessary. So put it in D. All Skull does is increases your curse by 50%, which increases enemy speed, health, frequency, amount. Victory Sword is unreal, so good just before Jodor, and its counterpart is slightly better, but it basically makes you invincible. These two weapons are, I think you need to unlock most achievements before you can get Victory Sword and its counterpart, which it uses Toronto's Box to level you. I guess Toronto's Box can go up here too. Toronto's Box is a lot of fun. Let's put Toronto's Box right after those two. To evolve Victory Sword, you need Toronto's Box. Soul Eater, probably low A, maybe high B. Duration, really strong. Probably put it right next to Silver Ring because they do a similar thing. Again, with Stone Mask, I mean, it's necessary for the Cat's evolution. Cat's evolution is not good. I don't like the Cat's evolution unless you're farming gold, so I'm never going to take it unless I'm farming gold, because it basically, you don't receive XP anymore. It eats the XP and converts it to gold, so you want to basically only use gold runs for Cat Eye. So I put these two next to each other because unless I'm doing a gold run, I would not take these for any reason. Evolved Candy Box probably goes next to Evolved Box, Evolved Candy, but like one better because it's just you take a free evolved weapon. I mean, it could go here, doesn't really matter. It is S tier, it is really good. Evolved version of Knives, I think probably belongs sort of right next to Heaven's Sword, but a little worse. Evolved version of Lightning Ring, I think, is really strong, and you can get it pretty early on. Thunder Loop, I'm gonna put it probably, it probably does belong in S tier. Evolved Bible Evolved. I probably put this I think it's similar to Garlic. I think it's a little stronger than Garlic because it does move, Soul Eater because it does more damage. I think they're interchangeable probably, but Soul Eater's probably better because it does a similar thing and also heals you, but it does not do as much damage. In terms of the whip, I think the whip's really strong. It's really consistent damage, especially in your first or second runs. I think it's probably low A. No, it's really consistent. I put it next to Bloody Whip, honestly. Let's go like this. Let's do it like that. Those are pretty interchangeable. These are pretty interchangeable. Kind of do it like that. Speed, swiftness, it's fine. I'm never really gonna take it unless I'm doing like an achievement run where I'm running directly to an object, or unless I want to evolve Valkyrie Turner if I'm doing an achievement run, because you need to take Shadow Pinion and you need to evolve it using the wings. So wings I'd probably put in never unless they're already on the map or I'm doing an achievement run. For slow characters, I guess I'll put them in in low C, mid C, probably right there. So that's my tier list. I know a lot of you are probably gonna just jump to the end. That's fine. I don't mind. This is the end result. This is what I think about all the weapons after the first DLC. This is how I feel about them after playing probably well over, I would think, 1,200 hours of Vampire Survivors. So let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree, disagree, stuff that you think I did wrong, stuff that you'd change. But if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. It really does help out. Take it easy.